Alright, in this video, I will be reviewing the 4-foot Mrs. Claus Christmas Scene. This is a holiday time inflatable. We got this from Walmart in the year 2025. The original price was $49, and this is a Gemmy product. Alright, let's take a look at all the lights in this inflatable. This inflatable has 3 light bulbs. Each character gets a light bulb. Usually the lights are where the neck would be, so the deer gets one on the neck, Mrs. Claus gets one on the neck, and the elf gets one on the neck. Now with these type of inflatables, they're mostly concerned with making the head really light up, and that does a really good job. The deer, Mrs. Claus, the elf, they all look great. They really do light up well. The only thing is, I will say that the bodies aren't that great. I mean, the elf is pretty good, and Mrs. Claus is not bad. But really, the deer doesn't really show up that well. It looks better on camera than it does in real life. But yeah, the body doesn't really show up that well. But again, they're mostly concerned with the head. And I think you're probably supposed to display it this way so you'd see it from this angle, which is really all you really need at night, is to see the deer head like that and lower part of its body there. And Mrs. Claus and the elf do shine bright. And also keep in mind, the only light source I have in my garage at the moment is from this inflatable. And it does light up the surrounding area a little bit. So you figure if it's outside, you have other inflatables, you know, it's the moon's out and everything like that. It is gonna be a little bit better than what you see in pitch black like this, but this just gives you an idea of what it looks like with absolutely no light source at all. This inflatable uses about 13 watts of electricity. Let's have a look at that motor now. Now, this kind of inflatable where it's like multiple characters like this, they typically put it in the middle character. And usually in the back, this is a little bit different. Normally it'd be like right in the back right here. So they have up to the side a little bit here. I'm not sure exactly why I do that. Why I did that. Doesn't really matter. This is a small motor, but it's on the smaller side than I would have expected. It's not the smallest small motor they make. It's more like in the middle. I thought it would be a little bit bigger, but it seems to be doing a good job. I mean, everything that's supposed to be getting air to it, I don't think the ears are supposed to get air to it. They're getting a little bit of air, but everything that's supposed to be getting air to it is puffing up and blowing up. So it does blow up well. Once it's blown up, it keeps air. So the motor is doing its job. All right, let's do the push test. It set up really well, which is kind of what I expected because it has a nice big base. Of course, the only problem is the reindeer over here kind of like would just be flopping around like this. That's why you gotta make sure you stake the ground loops in. There should be at least 2 of these. There's usually at least 2 of these. When there's a 4-legged critter. Sometimes all 4. This one only has 2, one on this leg and one on that leg. Make sure you stake those down. That would prevent them from moving a lot in the wind. So it should do pretty well in the wind once you get it staked down properly. All right, let's go over some of the details of this inflatable. Right off the bat, I love this inflatable. It's very unique and different. You have Mrs. Claus, a female elf, and you have a reindeer. They don't usually have female elves. I mean, they do sometimes, but mostly you see male elves. So right off the bat, that's a nice touch. That's different. I do like they're on the scene by themselves. Mrs. Claus, you can really see her lips. They made her lips really pop. They have the elf holding some, gingerbread cookies. And Mrs. Claus also holding a gingerbread cookie. That's a felt material, though. That doesn't get any air to it. And the deer, they gave it wearing a scarf. So it's really nice. Mrs. Claus has holly Like I always say, be careful this holly. This is just, look like it, oh, it does have, they do, this is something new they're doing. Oh, that might not actually be in. That's just to keep the berries attached to the holly. That's not actually in the decoration. But this is just has three, say I see the little strings here. That's all it's keeping in here, these three little strings here. Usually it's okay if sometimes the wind really rips through it and tears it off, or sometimes it gets caught in something and tears these strings off. So let's keep an eye on that, something to be mindful of. I do like how they put a little heart-shaped bow in her hair, and they gave the elf pigtails, which is nice. Again, these don't get air to them, they're just felt. And this is something else you probably want to keep an eye on, make sure this doesn't get ruined. It should be okay, but something to keep an eye on. And they even gave the reindeer a saddle. It's not like 3D, it's just part of the inflatable, but I mean, it's for a good thing. You don't want that to get ruined either. So I really do like this inflatable. It's really unique. It's really unique and different, and that's a lot of what we look for here at the Holiday House. All right, Mrs. Claus, work your magic. Thank you, Mrs. Claus. This looks much better. Now you can see what this inflatable will look like as part of a display. Again, keep in mind, she's 4 feet tall. This bear over here is 3.5 feet tall. Grinch and Olaf, 4 feet. That Santa Claus is 7 feet tall. Gingerbread Man is 6 feet. Blue is 8 feet, and the blow molds are 2 feet. So you get a really good sense of what this inflatable would look like as part of a display. It fits in perfectly amongst the smaller inflatables and the bigger inflatables. It is a very unique inflatable, and it will look great as part of any display. And whether this is your only inflatable you have, your only decoration you have, or it's part of a much larger display, it'll look fantastic. It'll stand out. People will definitely notice it. And here's how it would look like at night. Again, the only source of light in my garage at the moment is from these decorations. And as you can see, this inflatable lights up just fine. I'm about 10 feet away from the inflatable right now. You can clearly make out the elf, Mrs. Claus, and the reindeer. Again, mostly just the faces light up and a little bit of their bodies, but that's mostly all you need. That's really the main thing people are going to want to see anyways. They're going to notice. That way they can instantly recognize what kind of characters these are. Right off the bat, you know what you're looking at. So it does a really good job of that. They all decorations glow together perfectly. They really do mesh well together. This would be, again, this is a great display. You don't have to have the exact display we have here. You can have your own inflatables, of course, your own decorations, but this inflatable in particular, the one we are talking about tonight, it'll fit in perfectly. It'll look great, whether it's day or night. Okay, then let's go over some final thoughts here. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is that right here, Mrs. Claus is stitched together to the elf. Right here, the arm is, and she's attached to the head here. Sometimes when they do these inflatables, usually on the bigger ones, they'll actually be connected by the inflatable. It's like the inflatable will just be part of her arm, be part of her head, will kind of connect to her head. That way air flows through all of them. That's not how this works. Instead, the air flows through the body here. So to make the scene correct, where Mrs. Claus' hand is kind of over here more, they just stitch it together there. So keep in mind, you might have to keep an eye on this. It's just one little stitch. If that comes off, her arms is going to be more loose. That you might not think it's a big deal. I think it's also to keep the elf upright, probably. Without being stitched to the arm, she might like kind of tilt this way a little bit or back a little bit. So something to keep an eye on. Just keep in mind that might get caught on something, might get snagged on something, it might tear off. So it might not look right. You might have to fix that if that happens. Just something to be mindful of. But other than that, yeah, I absolutely love the inflatable. I would give this a solid 9 out of 10. It lights up great. Again, what needs to be lit up, the head is the most important thing. That lights up great. It blows up great. It looks great. It looks fantastic. It's very unique. Like I said, all the detail in this inflatable is incredible. I can't say enough nice things about it. I do highly recommend this inflatable. You can find it for a price you're okay paying. I definitely say go ahead and go for it. I think that's all I gotta say about this inflatable though. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.